Hi, my name's Teresa and you're watching Between Two Wheels. How are you today? I hope your world is wonderful. My world is fabulous. Let's check in. This hand, I'm telling you what, this hand lately has been doing really, really good. This hand, it does what it does. So this one I'm able to have it open, and when I close it, I can really get a nice, a nice grip, kind of, and then open it again. So yeah, but you know what? When I eat, I use my right hand to eat. And I do that for a reason. I want to keep what strength I have. I want to keep it going. Hand exercises within the past 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, okay, maybe a year, over at the gym, really with grip, holding on to weights. So yeah, I'm doing whatever I can do to keep these hands working and to keep them as strong as possible. The rest of my body, like my lower body, I do what I can do as far as strength. And what I am able to do as far as stand up, I am able to stand up. I have to work on that. I constantly have to work on standing up, get my butt in, get my stomach in, get aligned with really good posture when I'm standing. I like to stand every day. It's different every time I go to the gym, but sometimes I stand at where there's a bar to put weights on it, and I bring my wheelchair up to that bar and I stand up. Sometimes I stand for 15, 20 minutes at a time, which is amazing from where I was at even 3 years ago. This month is my anniversary, Teresa 3.0, I call it, my 3-year anniversary. And what is it an anniversary of? Well, I will tell you. I started physical therapy, not for the first time, but for about the third time I started physical therapy at a time in my life when I was at my lowest, deepest, darkest, scariest, most frustrating, sad time in my mental and my physical self. And I was willing to try this fairly new drug at the time, this oral medication, MS medication, Gelenium, that I am still currently on. So yeah, I was on that probably 6 months and just needing something else at the time. And I had an appointment with my neurologist, and he suggested some physical therapy, and I said sure. I was very open to that, and not even realizing what I was about to roll into. And now, hindsight, I can't even imagine where my life would be. And I don't say this for dramatics or anything, but I don't even know if I would be here if it wasn't for that particular therapy at the time, that move to take physical and occupational therapy. That's how, and again, I don't say that for this whole big drama thing, but that's where that was my reality at the time. That's where I was at. And I continue to remember that. I need to remember that almost as my fuel, my fire, my determination to stay above that mentally, physically, with what I can do. I'm always preaching and practicing taken responsibility for what I can with this disease. I realize there are some things that my MS just will not allow me to do. That's reality. I don't like saying that. I don't like it, but that's my truth. That is what's going on in my life. So yes, I started therapy, and like I've said, I rolled in there physically and mentally broken. Just pretty much didn't see any. The light was dimming. I'll just say that it was dimming. Where I was physically at my worst, as far as my MS, my symptoms, where I was at nutritionally, and just, I was just a mess. Didn't have any kind of structured anything in my life as far as physically. And then the mental stuff, as much as I always did and continue to take pride in where I've been mentally, it was just not a good place. I'm sure to some I may have appeared to have it all together or okay, and there were times when I was okay. It wasn't a constant doom. It was just a slow progression of drowning, I want to say. I equate drowning because, I'm going to be honest, there were thoughts that it might be a little better if I wouldn't have stayed here in this body and in this life. That's where I was at. And I'm just so grateful that I allowed, just that I rose above that and, looked at my therapy not as, again, not that I was looking for my doctor to fix me or make me all better, but still willing to give the gelenium a chance, and also with therapy, that it was almost that day when the very first time I went to therapy, I knew I would have to show up. If I wanted change in my life, for the physical and for the mental and emotional, that I needed to show up and I needed to do the work. I try never to put it in somebody else's hands and just, not work for what I feel like I can be. To me, it's all an inside job. And then, of course, unraveled and things started to happen, and it was a slow process. It was very organic, very cathartic, it opened up every door, and and just that and again, I mean, I instantly think of Shawshank Redemption. You know, I refer to this a lot, but it's just, it's how I see this whole process, you know, through applying pressure over time, you know, that's how he was able to break out of Shawshank. And I look at my life, you know, 3 years ago, that, you know, it became my prison. I was imprisoned in all those adjectives that I said earlier, and all those feelings and thoughts of, you know, fear, sadness, pain, you know, being angry, being frustrated, just being mad, all that stuff. And slowly I just started chipping away, showing up every day, making subtle little changes, little stuff. You know, and then as far as changing up my diet a little, changing my thinking, changing my physical, what I did physically, and just over time, and it's just still a constant everyday thing that I work on. And I work on proudly and with passion and with excitement, and you know, love the process. I continue to just, you know, every day is a new day, and I just continue to like work on this. And, you know, the momentum now, you know, when you build up momentum, when it first starts out, it's just kind of so hard. And I'm not saying every day I wake up is just this perfect day and I just get rolling and things go, because that again is not my reality. But it is easier. It's a lot easier, and it continues to get easier in a whole. You know, I'm using like a whole as like, say, a week. I might have a little down day or something, but then when I look back, like if I look at it on like a chart, or that's mental chart of, you know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago compared to today, man, there's just so much improvement. And it's all up here. It is all up here. Mental, mental, mental. Everything in life is mental. Where you are at mentally, and the rest will just follow. That I know to be true every single day. It's just, it's almost like that is my law, that, you know, what I create mentally makes and shapes my day, my week, my month, so on, so on, so on. And sometimes it's even that moment. It has to be broken down when I'm having, you know, a lot of pain, or, you know, whatever's going on with me, or just a fatiguing day, or whatever MS wants to throw me, you know, and for the most part, you know, I'm an 80-20 kind of girl, because it's still just this constant learning, constant applying, constant growth, and just, you know, taking every day, one day at a time, and being grateful for that day and in that moment. So I was at the gym today, had a wonderful day, lots of really good energy over there today. Everybody was happy and bubbly, and just, there's nothing like being around good, positive people, and just with the energy that I feel and I contribute to that. You know, we're all there for the same greater purpose. We're all there for it's a choice to be there. Nobody's making us be there, and just to be better versions of ourselves. And that's what I strive to be every single day. Do I succeed every single day? Not always. But at least it's the path that I always want to come back to. I always want to get, you know, it's my most comfortable path to be on. You know, to be the best me I can be and represent the best me, and you know, that whole power of example that I'm always talking about. But yeah, that's important in my life, and I love to surround myself with like-minded people that want to just be authentic, be real. And in the back of my mind, I always say, T, you're going to learn something so you can teach something. Okay. I don't have nothing else to say. And that's okay. All right. Have a wonderful day. I'll give you 2 thumbs up. How's that? 2 thumbs up. And maybe a peace sign. Yep, a little bit of a peace sign. Oops, I wasn't flicking you off. It kind of looked like I was flicking off, but I wasn't doing that. There we go. Okay. So thank you for taking the time and watching this. Please share this video if you know of anyone that has MS or any kind of chronic disease and is maybe having a difficult time, or not, or having a great time. So I'm looking forward to doing some videos again. I think I have a plan for November. I am committing to do more videos in November. It's one of my goals. Okay, so have a great day, and I will see you soon. Toodaloo.